Hello, everyone. Happy Republic Day. Good morning. I would request you all to switch on your videos because there will be a lot of movement that we would be doing. And it will be happy for me, or I will be more comfortable watching you all on the screen. Yeah. So I would request you all to keep your videos on if that's possible, because I would have wanted this physically to be happening, then happening it on the on the internet or through the online mode. But I understand we are from different parts of the city and we are connecting today. But movement, as we know, is that we need to move. Then we learn about it. Hopefully, we would have an intent that we all meet sometime at a common place and explore more of movements and games. Looking forward for that. But I request most of you all to keep your videos on. I hope I'm audible. You all can see me. Some thumbs ups.
You're audible.
Yeah, thank you. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes for the rest of them to join. Yeah, one more minute and we could start. Yeah, we are here today to learn about movement and connection, how movement helps reading and math. What is movement? I would not uh, I would not do most of the justice. I hope you all will understand in an hour I would not be able to complete the vastness of the subject. Yeah, but I would try to be as much as fair possible. There would be anatomical side and the physiological side of the brain. First, for us to understand how reading is developed in a child, and little of child development is what I would touch upon, because without the both, I think I would not be able to reach why movement is important in 0 to 7, and what as new mothers or new parents are we missing.
இல்ல ரொம்ப பெருசா போகும் conversation. I don't have time. If you want, you can research or I'll let you know later.
I heard somebody speaking, but I think it was by mistake and over talk or something, or was it for me? Okay. So we'll go with the slide and we'll go with a little movement before we start. I think we've all woken up and yes, just neck movements and eye movements. Basic neck movements are the simple movements. So we do up and down to release the tension of your neck. See, your neck is very important when you need to be focused and you need attention. A stiff neck is not going to allow us to give us the radius of reading and writing. So we would do this 6 times, and now we do right and left. So any movement in the body has an up and a down, a right and a left. So the body is divided into 3 axes So there is a upper part of the body where we bend and lift, and the right and left, which we do right and left side. The other part of the body is forward and backward. So forward and backward. So the body is divided into transverse sections. These sections are how the body captures everything in the space. So everything is space. We are connected to the space around us. So our space is still, I extend my hand. This is my bubble. So this is the bubble I am in. This is my space. This is my boundary, whatever you call it. So because a child needs to know I cannot bump into somebody, I cannot fall down eating something in front of me. So this is the boundary in the space that I need to first understand before I go into understanding the space between reading one word or a letter or a space or in writing. This is the space which comes from the larger body to a finer movement. When you're not comfortable in a larger body, so when you're not comfortable in the gross movement, then your fine movement will get affected. So I don't know my distance, I don't know my spatial dimension of myself, where I belong in this space, in this classroom. Then there is going to be a challenge in how I'm going to see the board. From board, what is the space there? I take it into my focus and I get it into my writing. So this is a three directional action for me. So I need to see the board. I need to capture it in my eye, take it into my memory, bring it into my hand, and then bring it into fine motor. So there is no isolation in a movement. Writing is not only a hand movement. So we cannot say writing, why is the child not writing? So is that I can give the child a little more of fine motor. So is there what I can do? No, it is all about, how do I clear? Is my vision clear? Can I see the space from the blackboard? Is the distance for the child from her or the ward space to the room? Is the child understanding? Then takes the image, transverses the image in the brain, brings it to the hand, and then writing. The same thing goes with reading. How do I see reading? Reading, I need to, everything in English is from left to right. I need to have an ocular movement, which is going, crossing the midline and going. So a sentence is read, we call this eye tracking. So I need to have this. Today, how many of us are working on this? This eye tracking, if this is not possible, then we are not going to, the child is not able to cross the midline shift because the right brain has taken half, then there is a midline shift, and then it is left brain. So if I don't have an integration between my right and left brain, my midline crossing activities, I don't know how to take a pen from my cross lateral. When a child picks up any object, if it is picking up from the same side, then one side has been developed. But if the child is picking up from the other side, putting it back, or taking the pen, giving it in her non-dominant hand and writing in her dominant hand, then there is mixed dominance. This mixed dominance is supposed to be there very strongly in a body by 7 years. If we haven't worked on this, if the childhood hasn't been enough for play, then the child is going to have unilateral. Unilateral is one hand movement in one hand. So then one part of the brain is going to be activated and the other part becomes a domicile. So that is how movement helps, and movement is going to be both the sides. So I think this is a gist. We can talk more about this, but to understand small things about why a neck movement, why a shoulder movement, why cross lateral movements are important even before they start to read or write, because the gross motor is connected to the fine. It doesn't come from the fine to the gross. The child crawls, walks, speaks, and then the child reads and writes. So the cognitive does not come before the body. The body comes and then cognition comes. If cognition has come before the body, for any instances in today, then we are going to have challenges later for the child to have understanding the concept. Probably there will be a mechanical reading or a mechanical writing, but the child is not going to comprehend what is happening. Because there is complexity. When English is from left to right, math is most of the time from right to left. So it is both the ways. So one subject, very prominent subject, is asking us to work from left. The other subject is saying, no, I will do addition. I have to start from left. I'm sorry, right. So when I start from right, I do addition, then I borrow, I do subtraction, I borrow. Now this child who's writing this way suddenly has to move this way for math subject. There's immediate transition happening from subject to subject. So then my brain has to be alert, active, and take the spontaneity of using which part of the site that particular skill has to be developed. And this cannot happen if we haven't developed the physical body from 0 to 7. Today, our spaces have reduced. We no more in large houses, big communities. We've all become into. So the space for a child from 0 to 1 has reduced, 0 to 3 has reduced. We don't have big, safe communities where children can just explore and run and cycle and jump and do anything. Everything needs to be initiated with the safety and other concerns today, I understand. But how are we going to facilitate this? And if the child has missed this due to any reason, could be COVID, where we all were stuck inside. So the developmental ages were compromised at this point. We had children for a year and a half inside closed doors and houses. So obviously they didn't have the opportunity for the child to develop in the physical body for readiness for reading and writing. So how do we help and support is all about this program. How do we support those? Because those are the children after post-COVID that we see the writing and learning difficulties. As school heads and operating heads, we see that there is a sudden rise in academic learning difficulty where they are not able to cope up, even when we know the children are smart, quick learners, and nothing to be labeled as such, but an insufficient amount of no body physical involvement in play has put the child into a shell, and the child is moving with every year of complex academic learning where the child has yet not developed the readiness for that appropriate age. Movement is the first language of the brain. Even before the child is in the, even before the child is out to the world, the movement happens in the womb of the mother. So the first movement is there. It is not even crawling or walking or creeping or rolling or anything like that. The first movement happens in the womb of the mother. So there is movement is the first language. So the movement has a pattern. The initial movements have formations, forms. Every movement is directional. Like as I said, there are 4 directions which we would never forget: the forward, backward, up, down. So movement is the core, even when the child till 9 months in the womb of the mother has developed all these even before intervention, because the development of a human being, the mankind itself, starts with movement even before thinking, speaking, reading, writing. That's how the development of stages go. So as we know, I'm just running through so that we never forget this part of it. So when the stage of the pushing against the uterine wall, so there is stretching, there's extending, there's always stretching. Is like when we are now going to read a lot or when we are tired, we naturally stretch. And when we stretch, we feel good. Why do we stretch? So that stretching movement gives us the chemical reaction to make us alert. So stretching is is a natural component to the body which says, yes, you are tired now. So when you stretch, you awaken yourself. So stretching is a normal thing that even starts in the womb before the child starts to move physically out. So responding to rhythm, we would have heard this word rhythm in most of it. What is rhythm? Rhythm is a part of the child, part of us. Even before movement, rhythm comes in. There's a rhythm of heartbeat, there's a rhythm in the liver, there's a rhythm in the kidneys, there's a rhythm in your breathing. There are more children who are anxious, and we can see that affecting the rhythm. Anxious children obviously are getting that from different environments and different experiences, but that affects the rhythm. So there has to be a rhythm. So rhythmic movements is what we call when we do movements. So any rhythmic movement will help the child calm and associate movement with language. So we can bring language and movement in rhythmic movements. So what does a rhythm? Why does it happen? And how rolling? So first they start to roll and then they stretch and then they push into the uterine wall. Then they come out of the mother. And it is the first touch of the body where all the sensory receptors, our skin have something called receptors. If you all have heard of acupuncture and acupressure, that is what they work on. One acupressure point or one acupuncture point will help you release something, is because because the receptors are being tapped at the right space. So that is understanding how the first stage happens for even before the child is. Now, if there is stress in this, if the mother has gone through any stress, physically, emotionally, anything, how is this movement affecting the body? We all, as mothers, know we've had children, we've had rapid stomach turnings and churnings in the stomach when we have been very anxious about something. The 9 months, if you haven't had at a right time, your little baby in the stomach starts to move faster. When there's food eaten, there's sometimes movement more. So even the, even before they're out, they're taking the stress levels from us and they are developing. So this fear of movement could be, if a mother, for instance, was on bedridden, like we know today there are a lot of clinical conditions where the mother is being asked to have bed rest even before she goes for a surgery or goes for a delivery. So what happens to the movement? The fetus hasn't experienced the movement in the womb of the mother. So this child is going to have a fear of movement when this child is out. And it's going to have, and the vestibular is your hearing. Vestibular organ is this. So the vestibular generally regulates or comes into understanding when there's rocking movements. So when a child is born and you'll rock in a cradle, whether it is left, right, forward, backward, we are developing the vestibular, because when the child was in the womb, it was cushioned with the sac inside, also had vestibular movement. So it was left, right, forward, backward. The vestibular is for hearing and focus. So after it is happening, we know our things are rolling, crawling, creeping, and these are the thing before they come into standing, 1 year. So 0 to 1 year. In this 0 to 1 year, these are the general movements of early movements, which we call with reflex integration. There has to be a reflex integration with this, which would be naturally that the child would develop. So if any of these stages are not done as much as needed, or if any of these stages have been missed for any particular reason, then something at the age of 9 or 8 will have a compensatory mechanism. So for example, crawling is a bilateral integration, which naturally a child does from 6 months to 8 months. or before the child even sits and then again crawls and weans it out. So when there is a right and left integration in crawling, and the child who has crawled has not crawled enough, then the integration comes where the child has a challenge in the 3rd grade where reading becomes difficult. So this is how an early movement, which has not been integrated well in the physical, for no one's blaming or for no one's reason, means we would not have stopped it, or the child decides on their own. Sometimes they only crawl for 15 days and they sit up for the next. So if there's not enough amount of crawling, how do we help the child develop this movement when the child is young? At a later stage, there are movement therapists and movement things that we would integrate. But as I said, what would happen if crawling is skipped is what we see now. There'll be a weak comprehension, reading fluency will reduce, letter reversal, because my left brain and right brain are not able to identify my B has to be written in the right and my D has to be written in the left, because I have no integration there. So then I don't work on B and D, but I go back to my foundation skill of movement and address the cross-lateral form, because the brain has to cope up the pattern, not the academic pattern of B and D. So our next stage will be walking, climbing, carrying, squatting and all. So I know this will be like after the child is 1 year, after the child has stood, now needs to walk. Walking on 2 feet starts with a climbing. Then they go with alternate feet. They come down with alternate feet and they go with alternate feet. But first it goes with both their feet. So if children are walking with yet both the feet and they are just 5 years, then we need to see what are we missing over here. So that's again something that will hinder the core strength. Core strength is very important. There's a full topic that we can do on core strength. Core strength is your abdominal strength, because it is the diaphragm is the muscle or the around your belly, which helps in most of the posture, sitting up straight, alertness, and breathing. So the sense of I can do, that willpower. So core strengthening is also something which goes on creeping, crawling, or something like the cat and camel and kind of exercise. Because if the core is not strengthened enough, then there is again a challenge of alertness. Again, when there is no alertness, we've seen in classrooms, children, if in a circle time, holding their knees and standing, slouching on the chair, slouching on the table, putting off their head back and sitting in a chair, because this uprightness has not developed. And this uprightness is coming from the core of the abdomen, which is connected to your spinal cord. So that's again something very important in this part. The child becomes restless, poor stamina, difficult sitting upright, writing, fatigue. I'm not sitting upright, I'm going to go into fatigue. I'm going to write only 2 lines. After that, I want to put my hand down and I want to lie down. Or if I'm asked to stand in a circle time to do something, I will slop down. That's because of the core muscle. The core muscle hasn't been strengthened because of the early moments of the childhood. Then comes running, jumping, throwing, and catching. So throw, catch, cross, up, down, roll, everything has to come. Now there is timing. If I throw and I leave this, I drop this material. So there is timing, there is sequencing, there is processing happening, how I do this movement. There's up, down, and the rhythm, it has to be maintained in a rhythm. If I lose the rhythm, I miss the ball, or the ball hits me. I can't throw it back. So all this happens. There is emotional regulation here. When jumping, running, and throwing, emotional regulation is obviously connected, because I'm anxious most of the time because my sequencing, my timing, and my rhythm is I'm missing my rhythm. And there has been even speech which is connected, which is again an entirely different topic, how speech and movement are connected. The clarity in speech is one of the areas in your brain with movement which is attached. speech delays, poor spelling, difficulty following instructions in a classroom, emotional outbursts. This all is happening. I'm going back to the previous slide to tell you all, if timing and sequencing is not being done, then I do have speech delays and poor spelling, because it is all rhythm. Before even I know the foreign subject of English, it is not my native language. We are not native English speakers. Our DNA holds our mother tongue. If the mother tongue has not been established well, because I come from, I did my early education in Wisconsin, America. Over there, they are so strict that they say only the foreign language comes, and their native language comes, and then the foreign language comes. They're not ready to give, even speaking English, Spanish is taken over there. Spanish is one which is being taught, because they say the thinking comes from a language only when it is native to their DNA. Otherwise, it is going to be a foreign language, and I'm not going to understand this comprehension of this foreign language no matter what. So we need to be native speakers at home to develop the language. Otherwise, we are going to have children not as, because it is only forms. Children are not seeing language when you are teaching phonetics. They are only seeing forms. How the form is. It is a big C, or it is a big wave, or it is a big elephant coming out of it. That is the way the eye perceives the form. The form is associated with a sound. The sound is then later associated with a word. The phoneme and the phonics has an association only in the basic form. If I don't understand the form, then nothing makes it to read. The child is not able to read. Balancing is a very important skipping, balancing. I think most of children today, we are actually gifting children with skipping ropes in our community, because skipping is a very, very natural way of jumping. There is sequence, there is rhythm, and there is a will. The child has to uplift against gravity. I need to move against gravity and then drop myself down. So this swinging, skipping is all a free outdoor play, which is a must. And the child decides, because we both are different bodies and different people. We might need more time for each organ to develop according to the child's physical development. So 3 years, 2 years of skipping sometimes are needed for them to go from single jump to multiple jumps, then double jumps, cross skipping. So yeah, but is there a time for exploration in that, is what is the question. What happens if it is missed is what we are seeing in today's challenge is ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia. A lot of names have been given. So these are all the foreign tagged ones. So eye tracking, eyes, ears, movement are connected to organize something.
Ma'am, we're not able to see the slides. I think you're moving slides, but we can see only the first slide.
Oh.
Ma'am, put it in the presentation mode. Sangeeta ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. I think you'll have to bear with me for this. I have done that, but I'll try that again. For me, it is moving, so I'm just like not sure.
Sangeeta, please press the next slide, no? The downward arrow, so that you can see the slides. You have the on your screen, on your keyboard, right?
You all can see now?
Yeah, perfect.
Yes, ma'am, that's better.
Okay. I'm so sorry about that, but okay. So learning disability, as we've told, are movement delays, because of reduced outdoor play, early academics, pressure of reading and writing even before the child has physically developed the body, is ready to even understand what is the form present in front of the child. Excessive screen exposure and a fear of dirt and falling. This fear is anxiety, which we say a fear of even exploring sometimes, that restricts a child from play, and that in turn affects the development of reading, writing, and so on. The good news, which we always see as therapists, educators, is that brain is plastic. Even today, if however old we are, we can do yoga, we can do many things because the brain is plastic and it has its elasticity to stretch and learn new things. So yes, so whoever has missed and we are seeing a challenge, what are we trying to do? We are going to do therapeutic movements, identify, assess, and put the child into movements that the child would have missed or would has not developed, depending on what is needed. So we call this movement can heal learning. Before we teach the child to read and write, we must help the child at home in their body. So the body is more important than even reading and writing start. So they have to be comfortable in their body, comfortable understanding that, yeah, I need to understand my space. I need to understand my forward, backward, right, left, in direction wise, before I am given something very small in my hand called a notebook or a small letter which is written, which has directions on its own. I write from top to down. Then, so that's how writing starts. No, we say standing line, sleeping line. All this starts first from here, and then only it goes into fine motor movement. Yeah. I will take questions, but is my speed too fast or is that okay?
Perfect.
So, okay.
Fine,
Because-
ma'am. Understandable.
Yeah, thank you. So that I can move. Now we will go a little technical. See, when you don't understand the brain, because I as a physiotherapist, I will want to always give you a bigger picture of understanding the brain before even understanding why and what. So my next slide could be a little deep. If the slide does not move, just somebody just pin me or just stop me in between. I'm okay with that. Okay, can we have everybody stand up? I can have some videos on so that I know you are doing it with me. Yeah. So we stand up and we lift our right leg up first. Look at a point and hold it for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can we do that with our left leg? Stand straight, focus on one point, anything in front of you, any flower, any photo, anything, and then lift your left leg as to your hip level and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, how many of y'all wobbled, juggled, had an imbalance of maintaining this?
I had, ma'am, a lot of juggling.
I had little, ma'am. Left leg I couldn't balance, but I balanced with right leg.
Oh, okay,
I could balance.
okay. If I go a little more slow, we'll do that again. I'm going to go slow now again. We are experiencing the same. Okay, same. Focus on one. Lift your right leg, and I'm going count. I'm going slow on my counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next, the other leg up, hip level, your knee raised. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How was this?
Good.
Better compared to the previous
Bit
one.
shaking was there.
Okay. I think
Good
Uma said
one.
something.
Sorry.
I did hear Uma saying right was more and left was less, or something like that in the earlier time.
This one now I struggled with when I was keeping my right knee up. A
Okay.
little bit I was shaking, dancing, I can say. But
Okay.
managed the left leg. I just took a deep breath before starting with the left leg and then proceeded.
Okay.
For me, the other way around, my left was little shaky this time.
Okay. Anybody else wants to contribute to the experience?
For me too, towards the end of probably like ninth count, I started feeling it. It was definitely challenging.
Yeah, that's quite natural that there would be a balance, because it's not something that we have been doing probably after college. Are we yet skipping? Are we yet doing things that were all developmental things? We have developed, but not being on something for a long time does have an imbalance in our own systems. So this is how even children are tensing. When they're doing something very fast, they're not processing the movement. So when we do it at a very slow, rhythmic, and in a slow pattern, the movement is processed and developed more stronger. Because when they're doing quickly, like what we are seeing, they are running around in our campuses or anything. But is that running? Is that how the body is integrated? No, it is not happening. But the same child, you ask them to jog, they would not jog, because now it is slow, it is rhythmic, and it has to have balance and all the proprioception involved in it. So that's the reason when you need to do movement in a slow pattern. And I would want to add what Uma said was breathing. You need to you cannot hold your breath and do a movement. You need to have the inhale and exhale going in a very rhythmic fashion along with the movement. Then the movement and the development get integrated. So a little anatomy, as I said, the science of whatever brain we know there are lobes, and each lobe is holding centers for speech, motor, premotor, reading, writing, anything, balance. There are a lot of centers. So every center works exactly in the pattern it is being directed to give signal to the body For example, if something is hot and I touch it, the receptor works, the receptor gives message to the brain, that part of the center of the brain, and then I take my hand. But if there is a neurological damage in the brain for any degenerative purposes, also like an old person who's obviously degenerative in any reason, will not have the same reflex as a person 20 years, 30, 40 years. When you compare a person with 70 years, the reflex reduces because the brain's degeneration has started to happen. But we all know there is plasticity. It is just that we need to keep working with our body more to keep the reflexes and the system around it. So each lobe holds a center we call Broca's area or Wernicke's area. So it has something to do with speech area and movement area and listening and auditory area. So it all depends on how much of time have we allowed the brain to develop and the centers to get activated. As we know, I said the vestibular system, this is your ear, and there goes the canal, the ear canal, and this is the system. So this system, whenever you're moving, I'll give you an example. You're riding a bike, or you're not even riding, you're sitting on a bus and traveling. Somebody else is driving the bus. You have an oscillatory movement when the driver when he accelerates or when he applies the brake. So there is a natural movement in the body. If this movement is not your reflex, if you don't do this, it is a compensatory mechanism to save yourself, that there is something coming to hit you and you know you need to be alert. Even if you're sleeping in the bus and somebody is driving, you know there is an acceleration, deceleration movement in constant movement with your body, which is happening. So the vestibular system is always active when there is movement. And movements like swinging, spinning, climbing, again, there is to and fro and side to side. So there are different types. When the child is swinging, that we see it is to and fro, and sometimes it is side to side. It even calms the nervous system. That is how little babies go to sleep when we give them the rocking cradle and we allow that to happen. So it is also calming the system. That's why when we are in movement, many of them in the bus, train, and all, we go to sleep. Because when the body is in constant oscillatory movement, you relax and you tend to sleep. So it develops the vestibular system. So we need to see that if children are swinging, and when we were young, you remember we all used to have a small habit of just standing and swinging, and then we'll stop and see how much can I hold the second. So these were all naturally something we were playing. But is there time today for the child to play on their own? We don't need anybody, but do I have the time and the free time to not think about anything, and can I explore my own self? Are we allowing that? Is the question. Again, crossing midline. Okay. There is something, this is the corpus callosum. This is the neural pathway connection for most of your lobes here, if you can see. So if this corpus callosum is not strengthened by cross-body movements, cross-lateral movements, if it is not strengthened, the neural pathways from the corpus callosum to your frontal, parietal, or occipital will stop the new neural pathways to build. So can I request y'all to mute your... Yeah, thank you. So when the corpus callosum is having a weaker system has not strengthened, and it is only strengthened by cross body movements. Then the integration of all the lobes gets a challenge. Then when that happens, then the other brain parts do get affected. So let's stand again and see if we can do some right left movement 10 times. We're just going to do it 10 times. You all can read this. Crossing the midline builds reading fluency. Okay. Now you all are going to read this on the screen. Now, however you all can read it with whatever distance, just read it. Crossing the midline builds reading fluency. Now we're going to do a cross lateral movement 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pause. We'll do it again, the second set. Doing it again with your elbow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we read the same line. Crossing the midline builds reading fluency. Do you all see your eye and your thing differently? Can anybody register this? If you all want to try it again. Just read the heading very naturally, then do a cross lateral movement, and then read it again and tell me your eye movement. Is it smooth? Is it jerky? Or how do you feel?
Ma'am, sorry, I missed this part because I was in the slide and I didn't see the video was not there. Can you do that movement again if you don't mind? Sorry for the inconvenience.
No, it's okay. Cross lateral, crossing midline. This is midline for your. This is your midline, and now you're going to cross.
Okay.
Hand
How
to
many
knee
times we have to do?
10 times, and then do elbow to knee.
Okay.
And then read the same heading.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, couple of minutes. Can somebody register what you all have experienced? Share how it is, especially your eyes.
Actually, the movement after doing the second
Ma'am,
movement.
you're talking, you have to talk a little louder.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Somebody can hear her. I'm unable to.
Yeah, I can hear her, Sangeeta.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the second time the eye movement were faster is what I perceived.
Okay. Anybody else? Who also say what Vahini is saying? Did you all experience something?
No, ma'am. Actually, I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable in my lower abdomen.
Oh,
Eyes, I didn't feel any difference.
okay. Anybody else?
Sangeeta ji, I think I felt a little heavier. Little heavy, like heavier in my eyesight. The clarity was there, but I don't know if I'm saying it right, but
No, there's no right, wrong answer. We are just experiencing how it is. When I go to the next movement, you will connect with what is happening right now. But thanks, that was very nice of you to share what you experienced. That will help us to understand. Proprioception supports attention and endurance. Proprioception is receptors, before receptors that support. So children who have been cuddled, do you know when a child was born, there was a nanny in the house in the earlier days who used to give you massages. She'll pull, stretch, then we'll get scared of her. The child is just a neonate of 3 weeks or 5 weeks, but she'll come very, very like pro. She comes into a house and she'll put the warm oil and she'll say, you move. Tallunga, I will do it. நீங்க போய் படுங்க, or you do your work. But we are missing that
Yeah.
person today in our houses. Malish and all that oil malish and all that part. I've heard different traditions do have different ways. I've heard the Kerala friends of mine who say even the mother is given the same malish, or the
Yeah.
same massage.
Yeah, I did the same with myself and my baby.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the South tradition, the baby is given the malish, but from the sector I come, I think I was not given that privilege of having the malish when I had delivered my child. But the tradition naturally had some things for a reason, to support the development of the child. Today, being nuclear families, today being for many other reasons, we are not able to accommodate these traditions, and that is something which is affecting the body and the brain of a younger child, a baby in hand. So if that malish is done, the receptors are developed. When you see, you remember, she'll do this, then she'll do cross lateral, then she'll take the knee, she'll push, then she'll pull. So there's touch, there's warmth, there is cross lateral, passive movements of everything happening. Then she'll give a warm bath, then tightly wrap the child in a very cuddling position, wrapped like a cocoon inside a leaf. And then she'll tightly put it and she'll say, you feed it. You feed the child now. The child will sleep. So, and it would be done for literally 6 months, 7 months, till the child takes, because there is so much of blood circulation, there's so much of receptors activated, everything. That is proprioception today, that we are trying to do rolling. We are trying to do the burrito roll. We are trying to do sometimes massages in some centers, therapeutic massages. There is yet new kind of that we do even in our center. We give child massages because this is something the child has missed. Only massages we do. Feet massage, back massage, depending on what the child is not sensing in the body. So our ability to sense position, movement, joints, and limbs is proprioception. Because we are not, is where we are seeing punching, pinching, hitting others. This sense is not happening for me, where my position is, till where I can stretch my hand. My joints and limbs are not getting, so I bump into many things and I fall. While walking, I hit things. I do bang others. All these small things which are happening because the proprioception has not been supported in an early age. Eye muscles develop through gross motor play. So eyes learn tracking, convergence, scanning through movement. Activities like rolling, catching, climbing. So this is, eye muscles are the first that need to, because till 2-3 months, the child doesn't know. It just sees an image as an eye. There's something blurred moving in front of me. By 6 months, the eye captures the mother and the auditory and the smell. Then the child clings on to the mother. Till then, the little baby will go to the grandmother, grandfather, anybody who can carry the baby. He or she is fine. But after that, when the eye muscles have developed, then the child recognizes the form and connects the auditory voice of the mother, then connects the touch, how she generally holds her, then wants to be soothed. So development, even if the child 6 months before had an eye, but did not see or perceive the form. So the tracking, the convergence, the scanning, everything was yet developing because the child was learning to roll, the child was learning to crawl, the child was learning to go upside down, because all this happens and the development of the eye happens. So anything we'll do again, we'll stand and we'll do something again is we'll do a clapping and a crossing movement. It could be a little complex. So we'll clap, we'll snap. I hope you all can see me. We clap, we snap, and we go. Or you can do this. Okay? Clap, snap, clap, snap, clap, snap, clap, snap, clap, snap. Okay, now I'm going to stop telling and we are going to do this 10 times quickly. Yeah. Now you'll read what is written in front of you all. Now, Mansi, tell me, how are you feeling after the movement and reading?
A little blur. There was a little blur
Mm-hmm.
first, and then it started to slowly clear off.
Okay. Anybody experience something similar or anything different? Thanks, Mansi, for sharing. Anybody
Welcome,
else?
Geeta ji.
I think you're talking in mute, ma'am. Is somebody talking in mute? How did you all experience after the movement and reading?
I don't see any change, ma'am, except the heaviness in my abdomen because I'm not doing much exercise nowadays.
Yes, ma'am. I'm waiting for another answer. There's so many of us, I think we can add some points.
Can you hear me, Sangeeta? Can you hear me? For me, it was pretty much the same, and like just as we did the previous exercise, I was able to read only. I didn't have any difficulty, but I'm not able to differentiate whether it was a better version that I read or something like that.
Thank you, ma'am. Movement before reading, movement after reading. If you all have experienced, this is what you all experienced. We did the first one was we read and then moved and then tried to read. Now I didn't ask you all to read. I just moved and made you all read.
Yes.
So every time I go into a classroom for observation or I give points about movement, some teacher after reading, they ask them to move and say, ma'am, movement panniyach. You asked me to do, I did. I said, how did you do? Ma'am, class mudikino, portion mudikino. So obviously I finished that, and because you asked me to do, I did. I said, no, that was not what I intent was to do. You move the child and then you do. You support the child. Then you give the skill. So that's the difference. And thanks to you all for sharing, because that's how the observation also is. So again, movement makes children happy. They are joyful. So anything that they wouldn't have had breakfast or fought with their mother before climbing the bus or saw their parents having a tough time at home, today they're experiencing a lot. Probably they're not telling us that they are also watching us. So any stress that they brought into the school or to the environment, once you do move, allow them morning a little free way of doing something, and then you ask them to come inside the classroom, your learnings will be very natural, easy, and the neural pathways are ready to take the learning. So it can be one day of free movement, where the child just goes, climbs trees, jumps, goes on a slide, swing before the class starts, or it could be even just play. And then you remember we all had some very, very typical schooling where we used to come from school at 3:30, 3:15. We never, I don't know, I don't remember during my days going to tuition and all much. We'll come home, put our bags, just change one dress because uniform I should not wear, then run and play. By 6 o'clock, my mother will give me a shout. I have to come wash my hand and take my book. So I had played enough, and now I can take my book and sit and study. But today, from 3:30, the child is sent somewhere to study.
Yeah,
What about it?
agreed.
So what are we compromising here? The child's neural pathway is compromised. When higher grades come and abstract learning comes, abstract learning is I don't have image anymore, I don't have connections anymore, but I need to understand what is there. It starts after 6th standard. There's abstract learning, like understanding the sun or understanding the universe or the science. Basically, I don't know, I have not seen a heart, I've not seen a kidney, but I need to understand the form of the kidney, and it goes and it comes out, it gives the, it purifies the blood. How am I going to understand this abstract learning when I haven't physically seen it, experienced it, or done anything with it? Then it becomes challenging in the higher middle school and going towards higher school. All abstract learning comes, and I become numb over there.
Uh,
Before reading, nobody has to help us. We can create our own cross scroll. These are all small things. For a child now, if I would do something in a classroom and I would say, twinkle, twinkle, little stars or something like that, I would say, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you. This is just in the place where the child is standing. I don't need to use a whole classroom, disturb others, nothing. I can just do, no? Twinkle, 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 little star, how I wonder what you are. Just a small movement, couple of times before the child starts to read the academic part. It can be simple. Yeah, these are also cross movements. You can do your touching of your ears, touching. There's so many poems in our English books that we can use. The textbooks have small, small poems. I think yesterday, day before, in a class, I was seeing something about turning and twisting and up and down, a poem which had, I just said up and down and down. So I have done a vestibular in the same space, and I have done my directionality exercise. The child is ready. Cross, direction, and vestibular. Even a movement like this is enough. The oscillation is happening. If you want to experience it, you can stand up and just feel this. Put a weight on the right leg, move, left. Put your weight on your right, move, and left. When you're sitting, and you can move and see. Right, move. Left, move. Now I can say tables here. 2 ones are 2. 2 twos are 4. 2 3s are 6. 2 4s are 8. 2 5s are 10. Yeah, I think I've crossed 2 minutes. Sorry about that. Yeah. There are some questions. I got ahead from a couple of them. Now, y'all can ask me questions, which I will take, but the group chat will be open. Y'all can send me questions y'all have. I'll try my best to answer them. Or if there are many questions, we can go forward, have another session to understand the questions. Because I said 10 to 11 and I don't want to disturb anybody's schedule keeping this. So over to y'all. Y'all need to lead me here. So far, this is what I had planned.
Ma'am, can I?
Yeah.
Somebody
Hello,
spoke.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please, Suganya, please tell me. I can hear you.
Ma'am, will you share this PDF in group, ma'am, WhatsApp group?
Okay. I mean, if that's what you need, yeah, that's not an issue. I can do that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi,
Geeta
Sangeeta.
ji. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Vahini is trying to speak for quite some time. If somebody can wait for her, I mean, that's okay. Yeah, please go ahead, Vahini. They're waiting.
Thank you. It was a very insightful session, and I was able to reflect some of the things with my son, who is 8-year-old. And
Not
some...
able to hear you, ma'am. Vahini, Miss
Can you
Vahini,
hear
can
me
you be a
now?
little bit louder?
Ma'am, if you're on the headphone, no, just keep your speaker close to you. I think that's the...
No, I've removed the headphones and I'm speaking directly to the speaker. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Y'all can hear her? Because I have an issue.
Yeah, I can hear Vahini.
Yes, it's a little faint, but we can hear if we like.
If somebody doesn't mind, please take Vahini's thing and let me know, yeah? Because I'm not able to.
Okay. So it was a very insightful session. Thank you so much. And I was able to connect so many things with my 8-year-old son and also with my children in the kindergarten. Like where each child is needing the attention and where I should give my attention. It was very beautiful, and also as an adult where I have missed. So I was actually able to reflect in all the 3 planes. And yes, you have given a passage now, and there are a lot of questions, but I'm holding the questions. I'll see the time to post the questions, but thank you so much, Sangeeta.
Thank you. I could hear you. I'm happy. Yeah. Yeah, I think Mansi Pankti wanted to share. Yeah.
Sangeeta ji, for a child not being able to sit idle even for 5 minutes, is that also a problem with movement? Like, I see few children who get very restless if they can't do something every minute of their. So is that the constant overwhelming rushness in this current pace, or does it have anything to do with restriction of the movement as well?
Seeing it in 2 ways. One, overstimulation. Overstimulation, I mean, there's a huge topic which I can talk, is media screen time and food intake. That is called, we could have a next topic about gut health and brain health.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. I've been wanting to do that. Thank you.
So gut health and brain health can be sometimes with all the processed food and all the kind of sugar and food that is going today, that is also a challenge, because that could lead to this inattention or hyperactive, both. Being
Okay.
inattentive or iPad, both could be the reason. Screen time, again, the same. When you're constantly looking at this screen, you're just looking, your eyes are not having the eye tracking or the amount of movement that is needed, and it is only a fixed eye movement in the screen time. So then reading, writing, and being restless because I don't know how to engage myself. Basically, in a very
Yeah.
nice way, I don't know how to engage myself very productively. Then again, it is something that the child gets restless. Yeah. Then you have to direct the child towards more meaningful play, I would suggest.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay, so I'm a teacher. So this is regarding a child with LD. So the child is basically having a challenge with comprehension. So her reading is good, but comprehension is a challenge for her. So can you please explain? I think you had mentioned something about the comprehension part and what is needed for the child to comprehend. I think crawling, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, could you please explain what kind of activities we can give the child and how to engage her in a classroom setting?
The classroom setting might not be a very, because the child will need some support. So we would
Okay.
not be fair enough just to do in a classroom setting. We would not do justice to the child.
Okay. Okay.
The child would need around 20 minutes of some one-on-one or something that you can do personally with the child. Just do some cross-lateral movements for 6 months and see.
Okay.
So again, that is one part of it. But the second part is you have to see how strong the child is in her own mother tongue. Yeah,
Okay.
I even mentioned this, right? When I said
Mm-mm.
language comes with comprehension from your mother tongue, not from a foreign language.
Okay.
Because when I'm talking to you, I am processing your question in my mother tongue first.
Correct.
Then only I'm answering you in English.
Mm-mm.
So then you have to go back and see, are they bilingual parents? A little history to understand, is there bilingual language inside, or the child is exposed to a lot of screen only through English through the TV. Many children are
Okay.
learning through cartoon English.
Okay.
So is the child having that challenge? And try to support the child with a little, like as I said, that everything is body. Body needs everything. No, now you have vitamin deficiency, you have iron deficiency, you have sugar, you have sodium default, everything in the body. Right? It is not only one.
Correct.
So then you can't only say one. So you have to see screen, you have to see language, you have to see sleep, then you have to see diet. It's an overall, that is why many of us step in to counsel the parent, help the parent understand. The child is not processing things in a very natural way. And the best thing is help the child go to a sports. Just pick a sport. I ask the parent to just pick a sport. It could be a shuttle, it could be swimming, it could be anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, we would be planning to have many small workshops online to start taking small things so that we can support you from our expertise to help understand. And it could be, we are also learning with the child. So I don't want the workshops or the teacher training or the parent, whatever workshops we want to run into massive big ones. Because I'm a teacher first, then a therapist, then we'll keep it very simple. We'll take one topic at convenient time, and we'll run through the topic and see many areas in that. Practice it for some time, come back with questions and hold it. Not rather just attend it for a certificate or attend it for some reason, and it does not benefit anybody. So this is what is the plan going forward. And we are trying to set up I mean, from the place we are, to help some preschools to tie up with them and try to see how we can build to see, because they hold more of 0 to 5 and 3 to 5 and 3 to 6 with them. So inside the preschoolers, can we bring this, because they are the early childhood development. So we want the nursery, kindergarten teachers to join us more to understand, because developments are in your hand. Y'all are the changes of the children before they move to the primary grade teachers or to the high school teachers. So we will want y'all to come forward to make a difference to children. So we will talk many things over there, how free play can be established, how play can be. Today, children don't know how to play. When left alone, they don't know what to play. Our days, we'll take a leaf, we'll take a stone, and we'll say, Kana Samikara, come. I'm going to make dosa, I'm going to make idli. Imitation, yes. But how are we going to facilitate these spaces? Because these are the children going forward in your primary years are going to read and write. If we can give these early childhood more strength towards play, speech, movement, then we can have a grade child doing comprehension, spelling, reading more easily. Yes, Vahini. Yes.
Ma'am?
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. Just one question here. The movements that you are mentioning, yes, especially it is in the kindergarten years that has to be worked, so that less work can be done in the primary years. And also, and I would like to add that you could bring in the perspective, because there are a lot of movements that is happening. We work in a Waldorf setup actually. And there is a lot of things happening, but does the teacher have the real eyes to check where exactly the movement is not happening in the right way, or where exactly the child is needing a help? So I feel the teacher also has to be equipped with the right eyes to, although we have free play, although we have everything, sometimes we miss it. So I feel that, as you said, the teacher has to be fed with the right eyes to see where the child could be helped. This is the first thing. And the second question that I have is related to the emotional, you mentioned in proprioception is where it brings the emotional stability. So how in the kindergarten years, like I know you're going to have separate topics, so does it really affect when the child moves into grade for an emotional stability and social skills? Are these both also linked with the movement in the early years?
The first part of the question of the Waldorf setup being freestyle and everything you'll have, and yet not having an eye to notice, that is just observation. And observation is the key in Waldorf. So we need to be observant and hold an intent, and then it will work, because I'm a Waldorf curative teacher from Canada. So yeah, that will work. That is an entire different thing because of the Waldorf setup. It works in a different way, where the teacher has to be equipped for observation skills and see who's missing in the free play and what the child has not been doing as a movement, and then try to intervene with the child's space without threatening or without alerting the child with whatever they are. So yeah, we'll do that sometime. And the second part of your question of proprioception and emotion, major chunk is yes, proprioception. But there are minor chunks that we cannot leave. It could be the anxiety at the house. It could be divorces happening. It could be mother being too away from the early years from the child's warmth. the nutrition around the child. Emotion is from everything, right? It does not only hold the major chunk. After I doing rolling, massages, or giving the child the enough proprioception support, yet the child is not able to handle the emotional regulation, is then the core of the family is somewhere that we need to see. Something is missing. That is why they hug us more or they come to us more. And that is, if it is inside 7 years, I will say just give it a listening ear. They just want to be listened and leave it. But it is above 7 years that you have to be worried. Because inside 7, they are developing it and they want that attention because you all are the second mothers in the kindergarten. They want to be noticed, they want to be appreciated, they want to be say, ah, I saw you, ah, lovely. Not something big, but yeah, something small. They want to be noticed. So emotional regulation needs that. So they feel warm and they feel, okay, I've got my attention from my class teacher, yay, kind of thing. But after that, if yet after that, the emotional regulation is yet not when they're in grade 3 and 4, and yet there are things, then we'll have to step in and see what is the background, what is happening.
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, Uma.
Ma'am, this is regarding the screen addiction of the child. Till the COVID hit, I have not allowed my kids for the screen and all. After the COVID hit, they got exposed to online games through one of their cousin. So it's going for nearly 5 years. I think you would have heard about Roblox and all. So I'm finding it very difficult to make them come out of that. And recent addiction is tab because it's unavoidable due to the educational background here. I'm staying in overseas, and even for the tuition, they have to take tab with them. They cannot avoid because the teachers are sending everything only in the Google Classroom. So the education setup is like this. I'm a bit struggling to handle their addiction, and if I ask them to keep, like all the tantrums happen, they will scream at me. I scream at them. So there is no solution for this problem for past 5 years. And I don't get my partner's support also much in that. So how to handle this? Hope you can cover this also in the next meeting or any workshop if possible.
Yeah. See, we are mothers, okay? End
Yeah.
of the day, we are mothers.
Yeah.
I'm a mother of a 15-year boy.
Okay.
So the challenge is going to be there no matter what. But with whatever scenario you're having, with that has to be accessible for many of the educational needs. There are many things that are there today with some parental control app and all that I hear that you can control them when they log in and log out. Try to figure out some ways like that. But I'll tell you
I
something
wanted
very.
to do that, ma'am. I wanted to do that, but my husband was against that. I
Okay.
told many are doing like that only here, but he's against that. I don't know how to
I
convince. That is
understand. That's what I was coming to. The next thing was the easier one. Children are beautiful beings. Whatever we can talk about as teacher, parent today, they are the most beautiful beings. You just have to direct them purposefully. Identify what is there like. It could be art, it could be drawing, it could be dancing, it could be singing. See, everybody have a heart to something. Just find it and encourage it. They'll find something more nice and they will leave this addiction. But it is our role to see what they like and what you see. It's not going to come very naturally. Take your brush, take your paint, start doing. No, that is not going to happen like that. As a mother of a 15-year, today also now after I finish the session, I need to go sit with him. It does not matter. Because the initiation will always be a problem. We need to go and say, come, I'll do it together with you. Then we also need to say, we are going to give our time to the child. It is just not going to naturally come. You need to get involved, take a shuttle, take a ball, sit and draw, paint. or pull them into your kitchen. The ADL is the biggest part. Ask them to come. I say your knees are aching, your head is aching. You can't do the whole chores at home. Start giving
Okay.
them some purposeful work. Washing machine, you are going to do. Drying, you are going to do.
And even if I call, no, like they have to argue. One is 13 and another is 11. So,
You
and
have to win the argument, Uma. Win the
sorry?
argument. You have to win the argument. They are
Okay,
not
but
smarter than us, no matter
I
what.
have other hindrances at home supporting them for their actions.
You tell who's the boss. That's it. Say, I'm the boss. You get 21, get out of the house, and you become the boss.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. In case if I need any assistant, can I message you?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Please go ahead. Let maybe others will have doubt. I will contact you.
Sure,
Thank
sure. No issues. I guess in the chat, I mean, while talking, I am saying, yeah, thank you for being a part of this today. I guess recorded version, unfortunately, I think we didn't record. We might not be able to share any recordings. We are very sorry about that because I just wanted a general way of connecting. So I didn't see it to be very professionally that I would be giving something away. I mean, I'll be very honest. I didn't see that coming. Yeah, going forward, I'll see if we can record it and send it to you all. But we can always meet and discuss, and we can always help one another as a community, come together, share experiences, and take experiences from one another. I mean, I might not be having everything in my basket. So yeah, with people who have missed today's session, I think somebody can take up a role of consolidating the session. I think you all are good teachers. Come forward, consolidate some part of whatever you all understood. Just a takeaway, put it into some point so that somebody who's missed it would get. You all can do audio, you all can do writing, you all can do, see, when you all, what you have learned today, when you all give it as learning to somebody else is when the learning goes deep. Otherwise, we'll switch off now the laptop and then we'll go into the kitchen for our lunch. So take some time today, write what was your takeaway, what you felt that you would incorporate in your classrooms with movement, and do share it in the group. So somebody who's missed some point or somebody who has not been able to capture something, oh, this was also something nice, would help somebody else, is what I would request. I think, yes, we will do more on screen time, diet, classroom strategies, starting with how to, and as Vahini asked, observation, teacher observation is the key, because with 30 children, 25 children in class, sometimes we need to have an eye for observation. And then we can see how we take one step and work on this. So thank you, everybody. Let movement be the key in your classrooms is what I would request, so that we don't go, I said, I, the therapist group, don't want to intervene the child at any point. We are not happy doing it. We have no choice, so we are entering into the child's life as therapists. But if y'all as mothers and teachers can do that, we as therapists, we have more other work that we can focus rather than intervening into therapy as children. So it's not something that, as every passing year, that we are seeing so much of storming of therapists around and therapy centers around. It is not something nice to be watching this happening. That's the main reason that I walked with all the work I do today to say we need to address this. Therapy centers cannot be filled with children like this anymore. We don't want to have it running like this. So yeah, anytime you all are free to message me with anything, or if you all want any workshops, please mention because I know the subject is vast. We can see who vote on which, and we can take our next workshop on that, depending on the topic and how many of you all want to understand which topic is to be prioritized. Because if you ask me, I have everything put up like, okay, this has to go, this has to go. But yeah, as I said, we'll take one, we'll eat it, chew it, digest it, make notes, and then we'll go to the next. We would not rush like any other sessions. That is what I would want, because it has to be deep and it has to go into your classroom. Otherwise, it does not make sense of attending. Thanks. Thank you all. Thank you. See you all again soon. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.